show will start in 1 minute. The bedroom talk show will start in 1 minute. The bedroom talk show will start in 1 minute. You are watching the bedroom talk show. 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 Crystal J and KOKO start the show.
Hello.
Hey, Instagram, Facebook, and all you guys. Welcome to the Bedroom Talk Show. I'm your host, Crystal
I'm
J.
KOKO. And I'm Terra.
And today we have a special guest, and we have Terra. So today's topic is something very hard to discuss. Today we're discussing miscarriages, stillborn, and dealing with a loss of a child. Before we start, I want to tell them thank you so much for being so bold to do this and to discuss this hard topic here at the Bedroom Talk Show. We are creating a safe place to discuss all topics, even controversial ones. Please, can you start off by telling us your experience with losing a
Well,
child?
I wanted to start off with definitions because a lot of people think like loss of a child, miscarriage, stillborn. They're actually two different things. And as in loss of a pregnancy, miscarriage happens for a certain amount of weeks. Let me just a second. I meant to have my stuff pulled up. But basically, when you're in the loss of a pregnancy, a stillborn is considered before, I want to say, 15 weeks. Anything after that is considered a stillborn. Also, stillborns are like when you have the baby perfectly fine. You went through the whole 9 months, and then for whatever reason, the baby comes out not breathing. So, um, shish kebabs. Stillborn and miscarriage. Yes, here we are. So, according to the CDC, for my people who like to have proof of the articles, an early stillbirth is a fetal death occurring between 20 and 27 completed weeks of pregnancy. A late stillbirth occurs between 28 and 36 completed weeks. A term birth, as we know, is 37 weeks or higher. Um, it can happen in any race.
We
The
can't
odds
see
of
you.
having a miscarriage rather, is 1 in 4. It's pretty low. So miscarriages I was trying to find. It does not say, but actually 20 weeks is considered the miscarriage time period. So most people when they get pregnant, they don't tell you until after 3 months. Most people when they get excited, especially if they, have experienced this before.
All right, thank you for the education. Now, can you tell us about your experience?
Wow. Okay. So, um, let's see. I got pregnant in 2017. Uh, no, I'm sorry, late 2016. I was due August 30th, and everything was fine. My pregnancy was normal. They kept telling me I was on track. Um, Went to my prenatal appointments, my ultrasounds without a hitch. Everything was fine. I found out I had a son. He was up to weight. He was measuring everything. And then April 17th, because this week was the my son's birthday. April 17th, I was just minding my own business at the bus stop, and my water broke. I couldn't figure out why. Wasn't doing anything. So I get to the hospital. They tell me go straight up to labor and delivery because I'm after. At this point, I was 20 weeks, 3 days, 20 weeks, 4 days. So they send me up to labor and delivery where they look at measure. They see how much water I have left. My water is steady, not gushing out, but it's dripping out. So I got there probably to the hospital about I want to say 6, and by 7 o'clock, all my water was gone. My water broke around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and so pretty fast, but not fast enough, I guess. So he was still inside my uterus, still breathing, still moving around. His heart still showing up on the monitor, and by then they tell me my water is gone and that I have to wait until then it's after hours. So of course all the major doctors have gone home. Not the doctors like delivery, but doctors that like as if I was to go to my doctor appointment. So they're all gone for the day. So I had to wait for just about close of business the next day because they still had to take their current patients. So I get a call. I mean, my doctor comes in my hospital room when after he looked at my charts and told me that there was a 50-50 chance that I would not make that he would not make it. And out of that 50 chance, if he did make it, he would be severely since there wasn't no water. Apparently water helps them to grow and help them move around so their limbs won't be stuck together. So due to him not having any water, he would have been severely disabled as well as mentally. He would have been pretty much confined to a wheelchair. And so um me and my kid's dad decided we'll take that chance because at the end of the day, God has the final say so. So sorry. So after that was around he gave me a couple hours to decide. I think that was around 5 o'clock. It's like some like details like this you don't forget. So yes, I remember around the time frame it was. So around 7:30, we have finally made our decision to keep him, and whatever happens happens. And then literally after I got off the phone telling my doctor that that's what we're gonna do so they can prepare, I was going to stay in the hospital. I'm sorry, I forgot this detail. I was gonna stay at the I could either go home and be on strict bed rest until I was 24 weeks, then they would come and deliver him, and he'll be under not radiation, but you know the little lights and stuff in the NICU, or I could stay at the hospital for those 4 weeks and then give him steroids and the lights and all that good stuff. So we had decided we to do that, and then like literally 5 minutes after I told my doctor that's what I wanted to do, my sorry, my contraction started. So we said we were gonna let God handle it, and that's what happened because my contraction started. So which means he wanted to come, and like I said, the 50-50 chance has now that 50 was chosen for me, which means he was going to be born and he was not going to make it because his lungs, apparently their lungs developed late 8 months, early 9 months. And being that I was only like 20 weeks, that's a little under 5. There was no chance for him to survive. If he had made it to 24 weeks, then there was a better chance. So I had to sit here and go through regular contractions, regular labor, being hooked up to the machines, for monitoring, and he was born around 1 o'clock in the morning on April 19th. And as soon as they cut him up out the set, there he was. So I asked for pictures. I got the footprints, everything you go through in a natural, regular birth. Except that was it. Very emotional time. I still have the pictures. I still look at it from time to time.
Well, I'm so sorry to hear that. But Tara, can you tell us your experience just tell us your experience?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Well, first, Kirsten, I'm so sorry to hear that. I could not imagine going through all that and then not having anybody to bring home. I kind of went through something similar like that with Kai, but Kai's still here with me. She was just fighting for her life at first, but that's a whole nother ball game. My name is Terra, and I had a miscarriage, as Kirsten defined for you guys earlier. That is before 20 weeks. I was about 14 weeks when I lost my children. I was pregnant with twins. Um, when I found out I was pregnant, I was shocked thoroughly because I didn't even think I could have children. Me personally, I didn't think it was possible for me to get pregnant because of the sexual trauma that my body has been through. I didn't think I could have kids. So when I did find out I was pregnant, it was weird. I took the pregnancy test, but I was bleeding, so that was odd to me. And I honestly I bled for like 2 months straight. Every day in the morning, I wake up cramping horribly. Like at first, I thought it was just a real bad period, and I was cramping. Somebody said, "What is a rainbow baby?" A rainbow baby is my baby Kai. It's a baby that you have after you've had a miscarriage. James Ware on Facebook. But for me, my miscarriage was intense because it lasted so long. So every morning I'm waking up and I'm on the toilet bleeding and like pushing. Like now that I've gone through labor, I know that I was bearing down and I was like just kind of pushing down because I didn't know what my body was going through. I wasn't aware that I was pushing out my own children. I didn't know. And so that went on for maybe about 2 or 3 months. And I finally went to the doctor because I was like, you know what, this is damn it ridiculous. I know I'm pregnant because I took the pregnancy test and said pregnant, but I was bleeding, so I was like, surely if I had a baby, the baby's not in there anymore. Like I'm really into science, so I pretty much had a good idea of what was going on. And I go to the doctor, and they look, and I'm expecting them to say, yes, you had a kid in there, but now we have to do a DNC. I forgot the actual definition for a DNC, but the procedure is pretty much where they scrape your uterine walls to get rid of the excess stuff that the baby didn't need or of the excess baby in some cases. And as tragic and violent as it sounds, that is the truth. I mean, it's science. But thought I was going in there to find out I would get a DNC, but instead they told me I was pregnant with twins, and my baby's father was there with me, being supportive. And I'd tell him, I grab him by the shoulders and go, "We're pregnant with twins," and his knees buckle, but he doesn't know what to do. As far as losing the babies, like I said, it was like a 3 week process. Um, I passed the last of them on August the 14th, which ironically is the same day my best friend and my other friend were sucked into the ocean to die. So it was very, 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 very intense to lose my children. Like I was in the tub trying to soak because I was hurting so bad because that's what miscarriages are. And I got up to like kind of rinse all the excess blood and stuff off me because I was just kind of sitting in a cesspool of dead baby juice. It sounds horrible, but that's what it was. And I stand up in the shower to rinse all of it off. The last of them, I believe, passes through this like giant blood clot, probably like, where's the screen, like this big, passes down the drain. And then my friend calls me and tells me that my friend Kiwan is missing in the ocean and our friend Monty is with him. So, yeah, I got out the shower, I ran to my closet, and I ripped everything out of it, fell into a pile of clothes, and cried for at least an hour. Yeah. So that's my story, the end. I hope everybody enjoyed that. I didn't want to get too emotional on here. So, yeah. Uh-oh, I can't hear you, Crystal.
I got emotional. Though I took myself off the screen for you can have your moment by yourself.
That's
I
understandable.
remember that.
It was ugly.
One question I do have for you. One
Hmm.
question I do have. How did you handle the loss of your child?
Um,
The
to
loss,
be honest,
the loss of your child.
my child, my twins, how did I
Before
handle that loss?
fetus, because it was still a fetus. I remember that.
Yeah, it was so early on. And what's tragic is I asked the doctor if I could get the ultrasound because in my mind that was the only time I would have ever got pregnant. He told me he wouldn't even give me the ultrasound, and I lost them like maybe a couple of weeks afterward. But Julian Scott's asking the same question
What
that
is a
James
rainbow
was.
baby? I know. What is a rainbow baby? A rainbow baby is a baby that is born after somebody had a miscarriage or
Mm-hmm.
stillborn. That is what a rainbow baby is. I may type that to put that
I
up
think you
there.
should. I think you should because
That's
I've
a good
seen that
question.
question about 2 or 3 times. But honestly, Crystal, to handle the death of your child, for me, it came in stages. At first, I was blaming myself. So a lot of self hatred happened first. And then after that stage is done, it's a whole bunch of guilt. Like to sit there and know, like, there's something that I did to my body. There's something I did not do for my body that caused this to happen, and it's
Hmm.
tragic. And to be honest, you don't ever really like you deal with it just by accepting the fact that it's the reality. But there's no magical way to stop hurting about it. It's going to hurt, and it's going to hurt forever. It's just you just kind of get used to the pain, honestly.
I can understand that. Well, I'm not going to say I can understand that. The only thing I have experienced, if anybody do not know, I'm going to take Terra off the screen just for now. My son was a threat and a miscarriage. Um, Pretty much a threat and miss. I was pregnant. I think I was 23 weeks. I don't remember how many weeks I was, but I was pregnant and I was taking a shower with a lot of blood. So I took me to the hospital, the ER, and it was blood everywhere. The only thing I can relate to is having a threatened miscarriage. And the threatened miscarriage is when you're pregnant, it's bleeding out normally. And when it's bleeding out normally, that that means your child, you could possibly lose your child. That's why they call it a miscarriage. That's the only thing I have experienced. Um, and I wanted to put that out there. 'Cause I know some people do know about that, so I did want to discuss that. But I'm gonna bring them back to the stream. If you have any questions, you guys, you can ask them, and we would most definitely answer all your questions. Um, so Coco, now that you're back, we cannot see you, Coco. I'll take Coco off the screen. I don't know what's going on with her camera. Let's add her back.
No, she's
Can you
coming
hear
back.
me?
There you are. Yeah.
Okay, Coco, we can hear you. Okay, the question that we have for you was, how did you deal with the loss of your son?
Um, I went through a very dark depression. If you were to ask me anything from April 2017 up until honestly till August, September 2017, I honestly can't tell you. Like that's how much I was just a freaking zombie. I was here physically, but I was not here. Um, I have bad memory. I was diagnosed with depression. I have very suicidal thoughts. Um, and speaking of, I couldn't really say nothing about Rainbow Baby because my children's father called, but this is my Rainbow Baby. So it was very very hard to deal with. I still have hard times going through it. Like I said, my son's birthday was actually this past Sunday. So what I do, I buy cupcakes every year. We sing happy birthday, and then last year was pretty good. I didn't cry, but this year for some reason I was crying up a storm after we sang. So it depends on the person and the year. I mean, how long it's been.
It might be harder for you right now too because you're at home and you're seeing your kids every day, and of course your brain is going to think about what your extended family would look like.
Yes, but to be honest, if he made it,
You
he
hear
wouldn't be
echo.
here.
Hmm?
I was saying if she had made it,
I said, I'm sorry about the echo, y'all. We have bad echo. I'm not
who me?
sure. For myself.
What? I'm sorry, I didn't hear. The phone was doing something weird.
Who has the
Sorry,
echo? Me?
sorry, guys. We having like the echo. I think I fixed it. So, Tara, what was the most painful part of dealing with the loss of your twin?
I felt like I had
Is it
brought it
somebody in there
onto
watching the
myself.
live? We hear echo.
Huh? Oh, it's okay. I felt like I had brought it onto
Okay.
myself by saying I didn't want kids. I thought I had did it myself. You know how those people who don't believe in abortion be like murder children. I really felt like that, even though I didn't get an abortion. I really felt like I had done something that caused my kids to go. But for those who are watching, it's not up to you. it's not up to your body. Like, yes, you can eat healthy, but that's not always a determining factor. It will help, but sometimes it's just not your time to have a kid, and that happens. But as for getting, and so what was the worst pain? I would say the miscarriage itself. I didn't tell this part of the story. I was actually at work when I like came to a head. My miscarriage, I was dilated maybe about 2 centimeters, sorry. And I was in the ambulance on the way to the hospital, and that was the worst pain because I was contracting. I was contracting, and we on this highway, and it's just bumping. It was horrible, horrible. So emotionally, thinking I had done it was the worst pain. Physically, the actual like pushing of the initial parts of their little bodies was the worst pain. The end.
So Coco, what was your worst part of losing your son, Noah?
The fact that I was scared, not knowing what was going to happen. The actual physical pain. I mean, aside from contractions, which is what I've gotten used to having two more kids. I mean, kids. But the more the after part, like the most hurtful part for me was knowing that I came here pregnant and I'm leaving here with. They gave me a box where I could have his blanket. I have his blanket, his the diaper that they put on him, and just leaving with that. Like I came pregnant, leave with a box. That's that's the most painful part, especially
So,
how I was treated
Kirsten,
in the hospital.
they didn't let you have no service, no moment of silence, or nothing like that. You didn't get to keep
Um,
him.
I could see him whenever I wanted to at the hospital. So while I
Mhm.
was, as long as I was there, I I could call them. They'll take him out the freezer, bring him up to me. I can spend as much time as I want to, and then when I was done, they put him back in the freezer. But only when I left, that's when they would I take that back. Defects offered to pay for a burial, but after talking with their dad, my mom, we decided. Well, they mainly decided for me that it wasn't going to be a good idea. So I went along with it because you're not really thinking about it at that time. Because yeah, I wouldn't mind keeping his ashes or even have him buried, but I think it probably wouldn't have been as healthy for me because it took me a while to stop looking at his box and start picking it up every day. So I know I would have just been holding on to the ashes.
Mhm.
I'm a little fat and out of breath moving from outside to inside.
Okay.
So,
Man.
what were you able to do, Tara?
Well, for me, since I was so early term, there was no babies to hold or anything like that. As far as the hospital experience, my closest experience is when I had Kai and they told us that we couldn't take her home yet, that she had to stay in the hospital for 2 months. But for me, yeah, there was no. I couldn't even keep the ultrasounds. I don't have any ultrasounds either, actually.
So no record. That sucks. That's
It,
unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that.
oh, it's okay. Thank you. Well, I have Kai, so it's
Yep, and
okay.
I have my Cheyenne.
Yeah, my baby Kai is asleep right now, but she really is the cutest thing on the
So I
planet.
did have a question. I did have a question for you.
Mm.
How were you during your pregnancy? Were you just as terrified?
I was. It's so funny. Like I had this very nihilistic way of approaching it because I couldn't really cope, because like it wasn't really anything for me to be sad on. So I didn't really cope that well at first. So during my pregnancy, the first trimester, I was like, I'm gonna just drink water and try to keep moving and hope that everything goes well. I actually didn't even really acknowledge the fact that I was pregnant until the second trimester, like you were saying earlier. Like women who have lost a baby before won't even really acknowledge a pregnancy until about 3 months.
Right.
That's pretty much what I was doing. I was like, I'm gonna just try to eat healthy. Like I stopped drinking, I stopped smoking, but that was pretty much it till that second trimester hit, and then it just got real, real. I was like, oh shit, I'm finna have a baby for real this time. So
Oh.
that was it.
Okay, so your experience was definitely different than mine.
Very,
Did they offer
very.
you any shots to take?
Any shots?
Mm-hmm.
Like what?
like for me during my pregnancy, once I got 20 weeks, I was able to
Mhm.
qualify for no 16 weeks. I'm sorry. I was able
Mhm.
to qualify to get weekly shots, which I decided to take. And that would just keep my uterus closed, whatever magic it worked to
Mhm.
till I was about 37 weeks.
Mhm. You know, they did offer me a shot, but it was for something different. I think for me, because I didn't carry the first one to term and it was my first pregnancy, they just kind of shoved it off. They was just like, you be all right. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, but yeah, that's pretty much what they did. But I can speak from my mom's experience. My mom had two children before I did.
Okay.
And for her, she had to bring one home, and after about the fifth day, the baby just didn't wake up again.
Oh wow.
Right, and she had to have dairy service and everything for him. And I had a
Mhm.
sister where my mom went through an experience like what you did, Kirsten, where she had to push them through and bring them to life and stuff. And for her, my sister was actually alive at first, and it wasn't like a slow process like yours, Kirsten. And again, I'm so sorry to hear that. My mom, she had my sister, had her for about 3 days at the hospital, and then they said that she wouldn't make it. And then my mom had to come home with no baby, and she went through a hard depression too. Like she only drank, she didn't comb her hair, she had to shave herself bald because she let her hair get matted. Like dealing, I think honestly, the emotional pain is the hugest pain when it comes to losing a child. Kirsten, what would you say?
Yeah, I've only known him for 20 weeks and 6 days, but when you find out you're pregnant and you decide to keep it, and that's another thing, I felt guilty because I wanted to get him aborted. So once I finally made that decision to keep him, I started making, okay, I'm having another baby. I'm gonna figure out how to make it work. And then I found out it was a boy. So then it was like, okay, so he's gonna be on the football team. He's gonna do this. He's gonna do great things. He's gonna be a great person. You make plans for that, and then all of a sudden it's just snatched away from you. That's the hard part. The
Mhm.
emotional. Yeah. Let me turn my light on, get a little extra light. I like it dark. It won't make much of a difference, but okay. So yeah, the emotional part behind it, the fact that you can't, you just, it's a child that you know is watching over you, and that's all good and dandy. But what about, like you said earlier, the family plans? Like it's supposed to be me and my oldest daughter. We're gonna go here. We're gonna go here. We're gonna go there. We're gonna travel the world. They're gonna be super smart. And then now it's just back to me and my daughter.
Mhm.
And then the hard part with me was to tell her, because we had told her early on that I was pregnant and that she was gonna have
Yeah.
a brother. And then I had to
Mhm.
explain to a 3-year-old, because she was 3 at the time, that why I'm not pregnant no more, what happened to her brother. And she was sad. She didn't really understand, but you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I was actually gonna ask you that too. How did the other sibling handle it? But it's kind of like the plus side that she was a little too young to really wrap her head around what was going on,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I keep getting calls. Anyway, you said how did the oh well, she didn't. She was 3 at the time, so it was like she cried when I told her, because I was crying, and I think that's probably why, because I was crying. Therefore, mommy's
She
crying. So
cried.
mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But we
Okay.
told her that your brother went to go play on God's playground. That's
No.
that's
That's a
about
sweet way to put it.
it. Mm-hmm.
That's good.
I'm trying not to relive these emotions, but I was the one who wanted to come up with this topic. So if anybody's gonna be strong, it should be me.
Yeah, I mean, well, actually, to have a platform to be able to show that weakness is what we want. So if you want to cry, girl, cry. You can do the ugly cry. Okay.
What were the primary scares going through your head? Um, was he gonna make it? And then, to be honest, when they said for him to be a chance of being disabled, I didn't want to go through that, because I knew that would be hard on both of us, and I didn't want him to suffer. But I just wanted to push through, just because, he might define all the odds and be like, he's born. He's not disabled, not mentally or physically. He's just a normal baby, and it's like, ha ha to you doctors, but that didn't work out. So I mean, I've come to accept it and learn that it just wasn't both of our time. And for whatever medical reason, because they tested the placenta and they couldn't find out any reasons through that as to why I miscarried. So I will never know. But it just plain old wasn't our time.
Mm,
I
man.
suppose. Because I was doing everything. I mean, I had a sickly pregnancy compared to my oldest. I mean, I never vomited, but I was nauseous 24/7. Even in my sleep, I was just having dreams of running to the bathroom to throw up, but never did. And I had different cravings compared to. I mean, I just assumed it was like a difference versus a boy and a girl. So different pregnancies have different results.
And I do hear a lot of people saying that, like even people who have like 5, 6 kids, they say every pregnancy is different. And I guess Crystal's question is for me too. What were the primary scares going through your head? Um, Honestly, my primary scare, like Kirsten was saying, was that my kid was gonna be disabled. And it's not there's nothing wrong with people who are handicapable. It's just that financially I knew I wouldn't be able to provide extra needs for someone who needs extra things. So I personally didn't want to put myself or my child in that position. Yeah, that was my scariest thing that my kid was gonna come out with like some craziness. Like I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Harlequin's disease, but I was scared of something like that too. Harlequin's disease is when the kid's pretty much born with their skin inside out. If you Google it, you will never be able to unsee it. So don't do it. Um, yeah, that was my biggest scare that my kid was gonna have a genetic disability that I couldn't fight against and couldn't financially be able to help them with. That was my biggest scare, Crystal. The end. Where's Kirsten? Oh, did everybody leave? Hello. What emotions overwhelm me then and now? Kirsten, you want to take this one first?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I couldn't
Okay.
at first.
Okay. I don't know what's going on, but emotional. What emotions overwhelmed me? Crystal, do you mean by as far as my miscarriage or being pregnant since my miscarriage?
When I
Well, as
asked that,
far as
when I wrote the question, I wanted to know about how did you feel about how was your emotions then, like when you was going through the miscarriage or whatever it was. Because yours not was not a miscarriage and it wasn't a stillborn. I don't know what to call it.
well, they
And
called it a stillborn, but
what are your emotions now?
so my emotions during the stillborn was I was very scared. I was also kind of scared for my life. I had just learned that black women are more susceptible to dying during childbirth and pregnancy. So that was running through my head. I was scared for his life. Who would take care of my daughter after that? You like everything that you don't even think about comes to your mind when you're going through something like that. So and then now my the emotions is I am like I'm still fearful for Cheyenne's life. It's like I with Chloe, my 7-year old, it's like I know she's here. I'm used to her. It's just Cheyenne for her being here for 14 months. I still like think something might happen to her. I mean, I think about that for all of us, but she's definitely on my radar for being like as far as me being scared.
That makes
And
sense.
even during my pregnancy, I was terrified.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I know you was very suicidal if you after and I know you went into a deep depression after that happened. Did you want to touch on that or you want to say that for another episode, depression and suicide?
For me, I can talk a little bit about it. Like I personally think the only reason I am here to this day after having my miscarriage was because of my daughter Chloe. For some odd reason, for some odd reason, and I just think it's all part of the plan. So, my daughter's caps, for those who don't know, like anyway, hip ways for her to help go to daycare. So that got canceled. So my daughter had no choice but to be with me, and I'm up here barely wanting to get out the bed, didn't like depression. Signs of depression is like you don't want to brush your hair, you don't want to do daily hygiene. I barely ate. Um, my mom and their dad would buy me my favorite foods, and I wouldn't eat it. I would only eat a little bit just for the fact that they bought it, and they bought it on purpose because they saw I wasn't eating at home. Shh. So they would buy me like Alfredo, all my favorite foods just to get me to eat, and I still wouldn't eat. Um, they would try to get me to go out. I wouldn't want to go, or I would just go and just be like, blah 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 blah. And honestly, trying not to fuss at them has made me forget the question. Can you repeat the question, Crystal?
The question was, what was your emotions then and now?
Oh yes, okay. So my emotions now, I'm just extremely fearful. I'm trying not to be, but deep down inside, I'm scared to lose another child, and that is mainly Cheyenne because she is the rainbow baby, and I'm scared for something to happen to both of my kids because they brought me closer to Chloe, and oh, I think that's what we were talking about. So she basically saved me from killing myself because I didn't want to do it while she was home, and I didn't want to do it. I didn't want her to find me dead because I know my mom has a gun, and I was thinking about pills. I thought about two different ways to do it. So I didn't want her to hear the gun go off, and I didn't want to take the pills, and she sees me thinking I'm asleep, but I'm really dead. So she saved me from doing so. Yep.
Cool. That's awesome. Oh, Crystal put me on the screen. I guess it's my turn now. Am I answering the question about emotions or suicide and depression? Because for me, that's two different subjects.
Yes, you're answering the question. If you don't want to answer it, I fully understand, and I can go to the next topic, or I can cut to a commercial. If you
Crystal, you
guys
know
need
I
me to
have
cut
no
to commercial, I
filter.
can cut to commercial. I know
Nope,
you
I
don't,
have no filter.
but
Yeah,
if
I'm
it's
I'm
something that
ready.
is too okay. Did you want to
Okay,
answer the question? You want me to cut to commercial?
I can answer the question. What emotions
Okay, go right
overwhelmed
ahead.
me then? The emotions that overwhelmed me during my miscarriage, that whole period, like I said, it was like a long 2 to 3 month period of me miscarrying. I pretty much knew I was miscarrying the whole time because I was bleeding the minute the testing pregnant. And for me, the emotions I was going through was a lot of fear and a lot of pain. And as for then versus now I just feel a lot of guilt about it, and I'm very thankful because of my rainbow baby. And it would have been exciting to have twins, but I don't know if I'm strong enough to have twins. Thank you, Amber. You should be on here too, ma'am, while you're up here chatting. You get your butt on this chat and talk about these things that Black women don't like to talk about. But for me, the emotions that I was going through, yeah, was just fear and pain, and now it's guilt and thankfulness. Yep.
Alrighty, you guys. So I'm gonna give them like a 45-second break, and we're about to cut right to commercial. So hope you guys enjoy some meditations to commercial. You get to breathe because it's a very hard topic. And it was KOKO idea to do this topic, and about to cut right to commercial. We want you to breathe. Breathe in, breathe out, and let go of anything you're experiencing. Today's topic is extremely hard to discuss, but we want to take time to meditate and breathe and release. Release anything you need into the universe. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And thank you for watching the Bedroom Talk Show. All right, I hope you guys enjoy that commercial. Um, it was just a little breather and a time to reset, just in case anybody is getting overwhelmed at this moment. But this is for you, Kirsten. So we're gonna.
Oh, thank you, Amber. I missed apparently while I was having technical difficulties. I was able to see the comments. Crystal, do you mind if I read one? You do. I think I missed the question with you. How was I transformed? Hello, hello, hello.
Alrighty, look like she's having technical difficulties, so I don't know what's going on her end. So I'm gonna go to Terra. The question that I had to ask for Terra was, how were you transformed after the miscarriage or experience?
How was I transformed after the miscarriage? To be that close for me, since I had never thought about the idea of motherhood, I had this whole concept of living like this responsibility free hippie life. So after the miscarriage, it kind of brought me back down to the reality of like, oh shit, I like really need to get my shit together and just kind of thinking of myself as a person. Like, am I the kind of person that I would want to consider a mother? So I had to reconsider who I was as a person and just kind of wrap my head around the idea of raising two little people and what kind of human I want to be able to do that. And let's see, how else was I transformed after the miscarriage? That pain honestly transformed me a little bit. To have to go through that level of pain every single day for about 2 months and bleeding through the whole thing. And like in the back of my head, I knew that my babies were not sticking. I didn't know it was twins at the time, but I knew whatever pregnancy I had, it wasn't sticking. So to have to go through your day every day knowing that whatever life you're carrying is slowly coming to an end, it changes you in a way where it makes every day more permanent. It makes reality more tangible and it makes you thankful for the things that you do have around you. It's almost like a near death experience in some ways. Back to you, Crystal.
Alrighty, so Coco is still not with us, so we're gonna keep going with the show. Um, I can kind of answer this question based on my threat and miscarriage. Do you take anything for granted after the experience? Well, my son is alive and I'm very blessed. This is my threat and miscarriage child right here. And I don't take anything for granted. I take everything with a grain of salt and I enjoy life. I feel like I live life to the fullest and I try to understand everything. And I literally just try to live a positive, happy life because anything can happen. So something can happen just like that and change your life. That's the question I had for them. And now it is Tara's turn to answer that same question. And
I'm here. Do I take anything for granted? Can you hear me? Okay. The question is, do I take anything for granted after this experience? No, actually, I don't take anything for granted after this experience. I enjoy spending so much time with my kid. Believe it or not, this is so weird, but you wouldn't believe how much spare money you have before you have a kid. I take nothing for granted these days. Right? You
I
don't
don't take
realize how much, just
anything
even the
for
little stuff,
granted.
not just the diapers and the wipes, just even little stuff. Like right now, Kai is 7 months. She's going into pulling up. Now I got to get pool noodles to put on the end of all the furniture and shit. Just like random stuff. I take nothing for granted. I love watching Kai grow. It's beautiful. It's the most amazing thing. I'm thankful for my parents to be around to be able to see that and to help me with them. I'm thankful for my baby dad, my cousin. Like, oh my God, it makes you very thankful for everything around you. I don't take anything for granted anymore. The only thing I
It
probably take for
does.
granted,
It makes you
it really
thankful.
does. It really does. It makes you way thankful. The only
I
thing
have
I probably
met
take
so
for
many.
granted is my right to vote. You what?
That is tomorrow's topic, but that's a good topic, honestly.
It
But I don't
is.
take anything for granted. Like I don't take anything for granted after I have met so many women that cannot bear kids. I met so many women that that can lose it because um their uterus is too, I can't remember the correct term. I don't want to go out of pocket and say the wrong thing, but I don't take anything for granted. I know God blessed me with my child, and I and my child has special needs. I'm still blessed. Miscarriage, I don't even know how I would have survived because I was my whole pregnancy I was trying not to be attached to my child. Nobody knows that
Really?
but Desiree. Pregnancy, I was trying to be attached to my child. I was literally, when I was pregnant, I was literally not trying to be. Um, I literally, when I was pregnant, I literally, when they told me it was a 50-50 chance my child was mentally challenged or with a
Mhm.
disability, I decided in that moment not to get close to my child. Didn't get close to my child until I actually pushed him out. Desiree knows that
Why?
because Desiree used to pop up all the time. I was depressed. They used to tell me it was a 50-50 chance that he was not gonna make it. It was a whole bunch of
Oh, so
stuff.
you were scared to get attached because you didn't know if you was gonna be able to deal with that
Then
loss.
they were saying, and right, and my midwife was saying he may be a stillborn. I'm like, I'm not gonna get attached to this thing. I'm gonna wait. And
Just
my
saying.
pregnancy, yeah, only Desiree knew that. Now you guys know that, but Desiree knew that because Desiree used to stay popping up on me.
Mhm.
That's why Desiree used to know.
Yeah.
I cut everybody off. I cut all my friends off. I'm so sorry. Coco texted me. I don't in the chat. But anyway, I cut off everybody, and I literally stayed to myself. That's pretty much what I did. When I heard the word threat of miscarriage, when I saw the blood, all them things, and that's why my was an angel baby shower. Now you know. Now you see why it was an angel baby shower because he was
Mhm.
get it because I was going through so much. He was a blessing. He hurts,
Mhm.
but he's still a blessing. So
Mhm.
I don't have a rainbow baby. I have the actual baby. But
Rainbow. Oh.
alrighty, yeah, he's not a rainbow baby, but I understand. Okay, so Coco's not in here, so we're gonna keep going with the show. And please, I know I normally read disclaimers. I did not read it, so let me read it just in case. Disclaimer: this episode is about miscarriages, stillborns, rainbows, etc. Everything that comes with it. This is a very sensitive subject, and we understand if you're unwilling to watch. If you're unwilling to watch, it's probably time for you to go through your healing process. I'm very open and I'm very blunt. Um, so I hope I don't get when I say that. I feel like sometimes us as women, like it was so hard for me to find. It was so hard for me to find other women to this topic. It was like, and I know at least a good five that been through it. And it was so hard for me to, besides my best friend Terra, it was so hard for me to have anybody to come on here and discuss this topic because it's so sensitive and it's so hard to talk about. And I understand it's hard to talk about. That's why you see me keep removing because it's a very sensitive thing, and I don't want to cry on camera. But it is okay to not be okay. It's okay to talk about your pain or what you go through. And here on the Bedroom Talk Show, we want to do that. She said she's having technical difficulties, you guys, as I already stated. But I just want you guys to know here on the Bedroom Talk Show, we are going to talk about things that are hard, and sometimes they may be hard for me too. So I want y'all to bear with us and understand that, and that's why we do the disclaimers. But we're gonna see if she can come down. Alrighty. So
She's still having technical difficulties.
not
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
we can hear you. So let's get to you.
Can y'all hear me?
Okay, you already answered this question, so I'm going to ask you this question. And it's echoing your background reason why. We need to work on that behind stage another day.
Who me?
Because I'm hearing echo in the
No.
background. How were you transformed after the miscarriage or the experience?
I was transformed by I looked at life a lot differently. Like I realized that life is not always promised tomorrow or today for that matter. And so that's how I was kind of transformed. I'm more overprotective over my kids now because anything can happen. So I feel like that's how I was transformed. Hello.
Do you take anything for granted after this experience?
Um, I did. I took the relationship with my oldest for granted, and so me and her got closer after that because I felt like if I lose one child, then I can definitely lose another. So that's what I took for granted, and that's what I've also changed after that.
The next question I have for you guys is what was the worst thing someone has said to you in response to your miscarriage or your reaction to suffering? How did you respond? You guys want me to put it on the screen?
Yeah, I'll go first. So I
Go
was
ahead.
treated like pure shit in the hospital. It made me feel like I was less of a woman because they just shrugged it off like that. I just felt like, um, and I had my baby at Crawford Long, Emory Midtown. So they treated me like I was basically less of a woman. It was like, oh, my phlebotomist, he was coming to take my blood and saw that first of all when they come in there they say congratulations on your baby. It's like they didn't even read my charts to see that I had did not have a baby with me. They just saw that I was in the mother baby suite. Therefore, you must have a baby. So they started off by coming in there, not even looking at the board or anything, saying that congratulations on your baby. And then my phlebotomist came to take my blood one day, and he said, "Oh, he said that," and I said, "Oh, I don't have the baby with me. I had a miscarriage." He was like, "Oh, how old are you?" And I was like, 27. Oh, he said, "Oh, you're young enough to have another one." Just like that, just shrugged it off, and then he said, "Okay, so give me your arm," as if nothing just fucking happened. So, and then after that, my children's family members, they was like, "I'm sorry that happened to you," and that was it. So as far as like I was friends with their aunt, and I felt like she should have been there for me as a friend, and she should have been there for me as their aunt, and she wasn't there for neither. So that's it is what it is. I mean, unless you have the baby home with you and they're able to see it, they pretty much don't care or sort of support. And that's like people in general. Like my some of my friends tried to get me to go out and talk about it and be helpful, and I might have just shrugged them off unknowingly. But yep, Tara, you want to go?
For me, let's see, who's the word? Well, for me, it's a little bit different. I hate the fact that I feel like the black sheep here, but for everybody who knows me, they know that like Terra with a baby, what? I can't believe she had a baby. So I'm the kind of person who they didn't expect to have a baby. So if people do find out about my miscarriage, which a lot of people don't, but if they do, they be like, "Oh, what?" It's more like just shock, honestly. But when Kirsten was talking about her experience at Emory, I can kind of relate to that. I had Kai at Emory, and while they were a very helpful team, people just kind of shrug off miscarriages and be like, "Oh, well, you can have another one. You're young enough." As a matter of fact, my doctor who refused to give me the ultrasound when I had lost the twins, I was in there crying, and I was like, "Well, can I at least have the ultrasound? Can you just print it out for me? Because it's probably the last time I'm going to be pregnant." And he like kind of laughed in my face. He was like, "Oh, they weren't big enough. I'm not praying that out." He literally told me that, and I was like, "Wow, that's really fucked up." You don't say that to nobody. That's really messed up. So that was the worst reaction I've had to my miscarriage. A lot of people don't know about it, so a lot of people don't get the response or get the chance to respond to my miscarriage. So thankfully, I have that. And what was the rest of it? To my suffering. a lot of people, not just when it comes to miscarriage, but just for Black women, not when it comes to us losing our children, just to our pain in general, people tend to shrug it off and be like, "You be alright, you can handle it." And that's how people act when I tell them about the miscarriage. Like, as you can see, I didn't get very emotional because I'm really good at holding everything in or holding it back, and I've actually had a really good team around me, so I've been able to cope better. So I don't have to break down and cry on here. But in those times where I did have moments of weakness, people look at me like, "What's wrong with you? It ain't like you had to do, or like it ain't like you held your dying child in your arms." Like they shrug it off like, "Oh, it could have been worse. You be alright. You only 29, whatever. You'll be okay. You can just have another Black kid, whatever, blah blah blah." And it pisses me off because it's a serious pain. It's something
Right.
serious to go through. Whether you had to hold your child, whether you didn't want a child, whether no matter what the case is, it hurts, and it shouldn't be shrugged off. But don't get me to talking, cause I get mad. I get more mad than sad. But yeah,
So I have a question for both of you guys. As you know, I've been writing my questions in the comment section for the guests, so they can read it before it happens. Okay, y'all. The question is: on Mother's Day, do you think of the child
God, I
you
can't
lost?
stand this shit.
yes, 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 yes. I was in Kroger today looking at the Mother's Day balloons and stuff, and where my first thought was, "Oh my gosh, it's my first Mother's Day." I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's not even supposed to be my first Mother's Day. It's supposed to be like my second or third Mother's Day by now." Cause I lost the twins literally right before I got pregnant with Kai. So yeah, I do think about it on Mother's Day. To think about how many kids I'm supposed to have versus how many kids I actually have. What about you, Kirsten?
I'm bringing her in.
It's still Mother's Day for me. That particular Mother's Day was hard because that was like not too long after my miscarriage. So I was just like, I'm supposed to be getting gifts from two people, or it still felt like Mother's
Yeah,
Day to me because I had a previous child. So it
yeah,
wasn't
but that
as
had to hurt
bad, but it
from
was still
April
bad.
to May. That had
Right.
to be tough, Kirsten. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Same to you. Stop. Leave her alone. So yes, I'm sorry. People keep calling me. I mean, my phone be dry all day, but all of a sudden now everybody and their mama want to call. But
You know
yes,
they want to call you when you got something to do.
right. Anywho,
Yeah, but all
did I
right,
miss any
Crystal.
questions?
It was the one about the how it changed you, but she asked you that one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all. Zachariah had an accident where he decided to pee but not go to the bathroom. And so
Can y'all hear me?
I didn't whoop him. I don't whoop him. I don't whoop him
Not
when
for
he does that. So
accident.
that's why I had to disappear. We can hear you just fine.
Okay.
The next question I have is, what advice can we give someone who I said word. What advice can you give someone who has gone through a miscarriage or something similar?
My advice would be to whatever your beliefs are, to be steadfast in it. Meditate. Take time to heal yourself, even if that means, like for me, as much as I didn't want to, I kept replaying the events over and over again. And and I would take a breather. And I think that's partially what happened as far as me healing, because when you face it and when you talk about it, that's why I'm so open about everything, because I believe it actually ends up helping me heal. And I also went to therapy to get professional healing. Um, so I used to see a therapist. Yep.
Okay. Oh, I guess it's my turn. I also saw a
We
therapist,
can't hear you,
Kirsten.
Tara, or at least I can't. I
Oh,
don't even know if I'm heard.
can you hear me now?
No.
No. Hold on. Let's see. It says it's working.
Tara, I can hear you just fine. She can't hear you. I can hear you fine.
Uh-oh.
Okay, Kirsten, you can't hear
Am I
still?
even being heard? Sorry for the
I can
technical
hear you.
difficulties.
I can hear
Also,
you.
I'm heard, but I can't hear you.
Okay, well, Crystal put me on the screen. I hope everybody can hear me. The first thing I would say, I really want to get my face in the screen here. Okay. First thing I would say to anybody who has gone through it is do not blame yourself. It is not your fault, not your body's fault. You didn't do it. Don't feel guilty. It's something that happens. And after that, it's really everything that Kirsten said. Like, really deal with it. Hurt. It's okay to hurt. Feel that pain. Think in it for a little while if you have to, but don't just stay in it. Just a little bit. Come out of it. Like Kirsten said, take a breather and be real with yourself. Like, this happened. It hurt, but
Right.
I just have to move forward. And that's the best advice that I can give. Like Kirsten said, meditate, cope, and don't forget the people around you. Lean on your team, lean on your support. If you have to lay in bed all day and have your mom and baby dad or husband bring you water and crackers, then you damn it do that for a little while and then come back. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Alrighty. Um,
Yes. How has religion, spirituality played a part, if any? Um, it definitely brought me closer to God at the time. So I'm still really confused about a lot of things currently and how I feel about my miscarriage then. But
I
Hmm.
understand. I'm the
yes,
same.
yes, I know you. I know you understand what's going on, but it definitely
Yeah,
brought me
because like
closer. So, yeah, you get spiritually strong. You lean on faith more. I'll pick her up for me, please.
Oh.
Terry, did you want to answer the question?
You see, I was trying to dodge that bullet because religion, I feel some type of way
Okay,
about.
it's okay.
So
We
I don't know.
we we can go to another one.
Okay.
I understand both of you guys. You don't have to talk about it on live. What advice can you give someone who is now pregnant after a miscarriage or something similar? I don't know why I thought I added that in there.
Um, well, I know fear is always going to play a huge part in the pregnancy you have after a miscarriage, but don't let it stress you out because that stress will definitely make you miscarriage again. So, well, not to say the stress will make you miscarriage, but I've been told by doctors that it plays a huge part in it for any pregnant person, just stress in general, for any person, but especially when you're pregnant. So, don't stress and try to eat right and let's see what else. And make sure you relax. Don't stress. Eat a lot and relax. That seems like pretty easy advice, right? Lay around and eat because that way you're not stressing, you're not overworking your body, you're not putting yourself in that position again to stress your body out to where something could happen. And again, it's not in your hands. So just keep trying to live your best life and do what's best for you and that baby.
All right, we have a question from a viewer. I'm going to share it. It said, "Well, are you guys trying to get pregnant after the loss of your kids, or was it something that just happened?" I can answer that for both of them. It just happened for both of them. They were not planned. But I'm gonna let them answer that question on their own.
Crystal does have some points, but it's funny because recently I've been doing some soul searching, and I think you know how sometimes we do things subconsciously without realizing it. I think I was trying to get pregnant again after I lost the baby, but not on purpose. It was kind of like I just wanted to know if I could get pregnant again and if I could carry through. It was not on purpose, like, oh, I'm finna do this, but it happened, and I was like, okay, well, I'm okay with this. Like, I was pleased with it. Um, yeah, I think for some people they do try to get pregnant on purpose after a miscarriage because the baby is their goal. So, and to be honest, you're more fertile right after a
Yeah,
miscarriage. For those who didn't know that, bless you. Coronavirus.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It is real. I'm mad at Kemp, but
So,
uh,
I wasn't trying.
Coco, this is your question.
Yes, I wasn't trying to get pregnant. It just happened, but it is what it is. Oh, okay. Good.
It's not the baby that said, "Hey." I'm sorry, that was funny. I know to answer this question for one of you, but this is for you, Terra.
Mm.
It's also for her when she come back. Will you tell your children about the loss of your child?
Yes, yes, I will. Probably after she
Okay.
gets older and she can recognize the idea of pregnancy and death. But I definitely will tell her, and I'll even tell her about her being in the hospital too when she gets older. So yeah, I definitely will. I think it's good to tell children that. That way you can normalize real adult pain, like real shit that people go through, instead of acting like it's taboo. And that way the kids understand. That way the kids understand that they're special. They understand why they're such a blessing. It kind of, I'm hoping it'll put them in a position where, hey, I should be very thankful for my life because it could have been me. That's how it was for me anyway. When my parents told me that they had lost siblings before me, it made me more thankful to be here because it could have been me. Like I could have fell out of my mom instead of being born and growing up like I did. So I think it's good for kids to know that. That's it. Is Shamika saying
I
that she
think that's a good
cannot
point
hear
to tell
everybody?
your kids about your loss and tell your kids about the things that we have experienced because I feel like that is very important. Um, Coco, I'm gonna let you answer that question.
Um, could y'all hear me with my answer? Oh no, I can't hear anybody. Well, if you guys can hear me, Chloe knows about her brother. She used to. I told her back then, but I recently told her about it this Sunday for her brother's birthday. So, is she really paying attention or cautious or even care? I don't know.
Well, for you, Coco, you have to realize you have a child that have autism. So sometimes they don't have emotions and feelings towards certain things that are important to us. So you have to remember, since you do have a child with the same thing my child has, you have to remember if she don't show emotion, it probably her disability as well. I don't know if you ever considered that or thought about that.
I mean,
Mhm.
since the diagnosis, I never did put two and two together because I don't talk to her about it like that because I don't want her to be like, well, like she asked me Sunday, why did he die? Where is he? How come you don't have him? I try not to, and I was already emotional, so I was trying not to go off, so to speak. But yeah, I do want her to know that I care about her. Sorry.
Sorry. I
Getting
agree
something out
with
the
you.
car.
This is a very rough topic for us to discuss. This was the co-host Coco idea because I technically want to stay away from stuff like this because it is kind of hard to talk about, and I'm not that person that like to share my emotions. So
She
that's
seems to run away from her problems.
That is so true. Oh,
Yes,
thank
it is a
you.
rough topic. Thank you.
But we have to talk about these things. I'm hoping us talking about these things will help people know that, it's okay for me to talk about it too. Other people hurt and they still talk about it. So I'm hoping that
Right.
they'll see, hey, I
yep.
hurt and I can talk about it. I'm hoping so.
It's part of
Talk to your
healing.
friends about it.
hmm I
It is
honestly
It
part
had
of
a
is a
healing.
poem I
lining.
had wrote about them, but I forgot it. I left it in my room somewhere.
Yeah, I got several poems dedicated to my son.
You too? You should have read
Did you
one.
guys want to share
I
any
should have. I
poems
mean, I
on
can go get
live?
it, but I don't know
Maybe
if we
we can
press for
have like a
time.
poetry death jam later.
Yeah, if we're all up for it, I'll do it.
Yeah, I'm up for it. I just gotta
It's
go
totally
get
up
him.
to
My
you
baby's
guys.
asleep in the room now.
Oh, I know. Don't wake him up.
I
So I
do
mean,
need to
yeah.
wake her up though,
Well, my
actually.
son is not sick.
Just I want everybody to know that yes, you're going through this dark, tough time, but there is a silver lining or a rainbow lining
Mhm.
at the end of the day. I know that. I took
Mhm.
it down.
Thank you, Desiree.
Yes.
Yep, it's so true, and yep, that's what we're hoping for. That others know
Yes,
that
like
it's rough, but we go through it.
yes, I think it's in very. That's why I wanted to do it because it's very important to talk about it. Like, it helps me heal every time I do talk about it. But then again, I don't want to be a burden to nobody else, so I hardly talk about it at the same time. You get what I'm saying? Whenever I do have the chance to talk
Kirsten,
about it, I will. But I don't want to bother nobody with it at the same time.
hey, hey, don't think that way. Don't think that way. Your emotions are never a burden, especially to those who love you.
You'd be surprised, but I
Oh,
guess you made more
somebody's
of a point
listening.
with
Clap
those that
for
love me.
Tara. You,
Yay!
you heard what Tara
I'm
just said?
learning. I'm learning. I'm fighting against that too,
That just clap
Kirsten.
for you too.
I'm
Yes.
spicy.
Yeah, it's good to share. Like I share personal things with myself with friends. Like I'm not
Mhm.
where you guys are. You can openly share something.
Mhm.
I'm so proud of y'all for sharing y'all truth. I
Oh,
ain't
hey,
there yet.
beautiful.
Bye.
No,
Oh, Shakina, I know, I know.
I agree. Girl, F them. Girl, clap for that.
What?
Um,
But
do
like I said,
anybody?
after how I saw how I was treated by his family, about how it was just like, we're sorry, and that was it. Like, his aunt even had the nerve to say, "Well, I know somebody who had 5 miscarriages, and she seems fine." Yeah, she seems fine to you. How? And then you never
I
know what
can't
somebody
believe
really
she
going through.
said
Yeah,
that.
bitch. I mean, excuse me. So, like, yeah, you're fine. Of
Tell
course,
him.
she's fine with it to you in your face, but you don't know how many times she done cried in the dark. Or maybe she might be fine today, actually. But you just never know what somebody's going through. They're like, how dare you say that? So,
Right. That's a
child. And
shame.
that's why she's no
See?
longer my
Everybody's not for everybody. But you have to find you. And this point, when you go through something so traumatic, you have to realize who are your real people. At the end of the day, you find out who's really fucking with you, who really ain't rocking with you, and you just like she said, fuck them. Like stop worrying about what the fuck they didn't do for you. I know exactly what you're talking about. Should I post her comment? Let me see. This
you
is for
went
you.
you went and out.
This is her comment.
And Shakina, you of all people know who I'm talking about because our kids are cousins. But anywho.
That's
I
funny.
don't see why y'all
Yeah.
acknowledging them. But back to the other thing. Questions.
They will not get it unless they grow through it. Go through it. Exactly, that's right.
That's so true.
A lot of people won't understand a lot of things because they don't experience it. And I
Mhm.
agree with that comment. That's
But my thing is, be like, we're
right. And
still
it's
humans. Have some
unfortunate.
common courtesy.
And this is my thing. I don't understand. Sorry. I'm operating everything over here. I personally don't understand why people say, well, let's say I've been with my boyfriend for 5 years. We are gonna have a baby. Do women and men do not understand how insensitive it is to ask a couple when they're having a baby? Because you don't know if they can have a baby. You don't know if they've been trying. Like, do you not know that? I met somebody like that. Doing my self love journey. And during my self love journey, she told me that her boyfriend been trying for years, and it makes her sad when people say when you gonna have a baby. So with this topic, I do want to address that. Let's stop asking people when they're gonna have a baby. That's not our uterus. Don't stop asking about somebody else's uterus. So that's
Learned that.
that's a
I've also learned that you can't ask somebody who's like, how many months are you? Just because you see that their stomach is a little round or look like they could be pregnant. Like, my stomach was a little round, and people were still asking me when I'm due. And meanwhile, I just lost my baby. So don't ask that because you don't know if they just went through the same thing. And they may joke around and say it to you like, "Oh, I'm not pregnant. I'm just fat." You never know. So I've learned to stop asking that.
I had to go
So
get the light. Okay.
that's
My bad, y'all. I had to go get the screen light. Can y'all still see me?
yeah.
Oh, hey, little
we
one.
can hear you and see you.
Okay, awesome.
Desiree had a comment.
And
That's
that's
why it's
why it's
important to
important
share,
to
express
share.
how you feel.
I can remember too.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what I've learned
yeah, it's
as
true.
well. The
Very
more you
true.
talk about it, the better you end up feeling.
Mhm. This light is weird, but yeah, that's true.
I agree.
All right, here go another one.
I think that was for Kirsten.
Yeah. Girl, I'm gonna say it live, and I don't care who fucking watching. Fuck that bitch. She ain't gonna never experience something until she go through it, and that's why honestly her life isn't as great as she pretends it to be. Tag me in it. All right, moving on. Moving on. Oh, here go the damn
You
train.
know what? I have a whole petty.
Cause it's these folks
Petty.
raised differently, and then I don't know why it took me so goddamn long to see it. But anyway, moving on.
Petty. I'm not even gonna pull my petty gif out on
I'll
you.
pull my petty wig
Petty.
out.
Do anybody in the on Facebook have any questions they want to ask
Yes, ask
the
away.
our two ladies who are very open talking about their experience with losing a child?
Let me go back in the room.
Anybody have any comments?
They probably don't, but I do want to say this. There are different kinds of ways that people you lose kids, and one of the ways that people don't ever talk about is ectopic pregnancies. My mom lost a kid to that too, but an ectopic pregnancy is when the baby is starting to form in your fallopian tubes, and that's tragic because you sometimes have to get a medical abortion because an ectopic pregnancy can kill you and the baby. And people don't talk about that often, but it's something that can happen, and it's tragic because after dealing with an ectopic pregnancy, sometimes you can lose a fallopian tube. As you know, the fallopian tubes are the ones that connect to the ovaries, which connect to the uterus, all that. But if you lose a fallopian tube, you can only imagine it's harder to actually conceive a child then, and that's devastating for some people because all they want is motherhood. And for something like that to happen to somebody and for it to ruin your future in that way, it's just triply devastating for some. And people don't talk about that. I know many people who have gone through that. No one talks about it. Yeah, that's it. Back to you, Crystal. I can't hear you, Crystal. I can't hear you.
Somebody agreed and said yes, what you just
Mhm.
said.
Yep. Yep. People don't
I
talk
didn't know the
about it.
correct term for that.
Yep. It's
I
called an ectopic
know.
pregnancy.
Um,
Or the pregnancy can be
I know
outside
somebody
of
in
the
passing who
uterus. Hmm.
yes, I know somebody in passing who can't have kids because she don't have her tubes. She had one tube, but they had to remove it, and now she only have
Mm.
one tube, and now she can't have kids. So that's why I say when people when people
Oh,
say why you don't have kids, people should be mindful of why you shouldn't ask that question. All women can't bear kids. Just because you're born a woman don't mean you can bear a child.
right. Exactly. And I wanted to say that, Crystal, you should make that an entirely separate show about the social standards and expectations of women in today's society. About when you're gonna have kids, how many kids you want. Da, 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 da. That needs to be talked about because that shit's not okay. Oh Lord, my story is the whole book. I believe it. You should call
I
Crystal. You
say
should share.
write that book.
Mhm.
You can just DM me and you can be on the show. I figured out a whole way for you can be at home and you don't have to come over here. I figured it out. So
Yep, it's
we have another
genius.
question. Thank you. Have you guys talked about female friendships? No, we have not. That's
We
coming up.
should.
Not
That's a good
next.
topic.
That's a good topic. I can write that. Let me write that down in my little topic book. I have a whole
As a
book,
matter of
girl
fact,
boss.
Crystal, I would like to send you some school of life videos on that. Not so much female friendships, but of just human relationships in general and how we can not recognize toxic habits and red flags when it comes to human relationships. I want to send you something on that because the shit that
Oh,
I was
girl,
seeing was a
I've
lot of
been paying
stuff.
attention to red flags in relationships.
Because a lot of stuff I see in our culture that has been normalized is actually quite toxic. Like we used to do it too, Crystal, back in high school. Like you
Yes.
joning your friends because it's funny. That's not funny. It's toxic. Don't do that. But
We
yeah,
talk. Well, that would be because somebody asked for that. We will do that show, and I will have Tara
Yes.
because if you read my blog, if you read my blog, you saw that I posted how I bullied my best friend in high school, and that's the
yep,
best friend I bullied.
yep. It
Some
is.
people
It's
don't
me.
understand just
See,
because I
look,
say it.
But that
I'm
would be
not
a
worth being
whole.
bullied.
Some people don't
What you say?
understand.
What'd you say, Coco? We
I
didn't
was
hear you.
saying some people don't understand just because I say it doesn't mean you can say it. Like I can say, "Damn, my ears are big," but bitch, I better not hear you say that my ears are big. You know?
You should team up with exactly, Kirsten. You should team up with this Shanika Price person, Crystal.
Come on, Shakina.
Yeah, you can just DM Coco and we can set it up and we can pick a topic that we think would best fit you.
Come on, Shakina.
But yeah,
Do anybody have any other questions? I do see it's starting to be more women coming on the live. Do any women want to comment or come on and talk about their experience about losing their child?
Or in, well, yeah.
If you do, I would send you the link. If you comment, you want to, I would send you the
Right
link.
now.
is there a way for you to post? No, I don't think it is. That don't make no sense. Never mind. Take the literate. Don't listen to me.
What happened?
I was gonna ask if there's a way for you to post a link and they can click it, but I don't think that's how
Honey,
computers work.
everybody, their mom be cooking.
I can post it. I can post it. I'm doing everything from my
And now
phone,
you want to take a
not
nap.
the computer because we had technical difficulties earlier. So
Yeah.
I do apologize. My main
um
technical difficulty has come and picked up his child, and they're gone. So, no more technical difficulties for me.
Okay.
Difficult more than
That's
technical,
funny.
but anyway.
Desiree had another question. Desiree had something else. They say for you guys.
Oh, she said
We
that
been saw that.
earlier.
Yeah, we been
Mhm.
saw that.
I think you was gone on that one, Crystal, but we saw it, and it's true. It's very true. It's important for us to share. Thank you.
Oh, she said she wanted to do the female friendship topic.
Mm.
Shakina did. Child,
Okay, and then you posted.
don't get me
But
getting so.
yeah.
Okay, so that go to link. Um, that go to link, you guys.
Oh,
And
all
when we
right,
do the
guys. I
female
actually have
topic, it's
to
gonna be an
leave.
open.
Fine.
I gotta go.
Um,
I didn't
She
pay my
ready to
rent on my stage, so now I gotta go. Bye,
go?
y'all.
yo, baby up, high up,
Hmm. No, I legit, I'm getting kicked
Kai's
out of the
up.
stage. No, she not up. Well, she might be up, but she with her dad. She okay. But I'm for real. I didn't pay the rent on my stage, so I'm
Oh,
getting kicked out.
Okay.
All right, bye, y'all.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you,
bye.
Kirsten. Bye.
Um,
Okay.
um,
some other phone.
so
Oh.
thank you, Tara, for coming. So, I'm not sure if I have any more questions before we get off live. We have been on here almost an hour and 30 minutes. I kind of figured my son is loud. I kind of feel he's happy. I kind of figured that this topic was going to be longer than other topics because it was a very sensitive topic. But do anybody have any questions? I'm trying to see if anybody's trying to come on live and discuss this topic, no other topic.
Please. Oh,
I
I
don't.
wanted to talk about something like I know I asked on my personal page if anybody had any of the following to inbox me, but regretted abortions. I know two people that have had abortions and that they have regretted it. They won't talk about it. They talk about it to me, but apparently they didn't want to talk about it on live, which is fine. But one of them was forced to because it was a teen pregnancy. The other one was actually the same person later had a abortion due to medical reasons. It was either her or the child. So there's that one. And then I have another friend who had an abortion because it was just at the time too much. And then her life ended up getting a little better. And then she regretted it. So I wanted to talk about regretted abortions, but I didn't have personal experiences. but I wanted to see if anybody else did. If anyone wanted to click the link. Get me off the head
So we're
screen.
gonna stay on here like 2 more minutes. If I don't see anybody pop up on my phone to I'm going to end the live because I feel like they answer a lot of questions. They discuss a
But
lot.
not be on live.
We all discussed a lot. Yeah, we all discussed a lot. I know. I'm sorry. This happened, but I know I discussed a lot on my end as well. I opened up about my 30 miscarriage. I opened up about me not trying to be attached to my child while I was pregnant because there was a possibility that he would have been stillborn. There was so much going on in my pregnancy that I did not discuss.
Yeah,
That's properly.
that must have been while I
But
was out having difficulties. Because it
yes.
took me.
Did you have any questions?
No, but that made me want to talk about my pregnancy with Cheyenne. It made me like I was on top of me being terrified, taking the shots. I just knew something was gonna happen to her. And then once she was born, it didn't take me till a good. She was about 6 or 7 months before I actually started feeling a bond for her. Otherwise, it was like looking at her, seeing her. Like my brain was like, I have this baby. I know I have this baby that I need to take care of. I love this baby because I see this baby, but it wasn't an emotional thing behind it. It was like she would cry, and then I wouldn't know whether, you know how you're a mom, you hear the cry, you know what they want. I would have to sit there and think back to the last time I fed her in order to realize, oh, she's hungry, instead of me automatically knowing. Or I'd have to squeeze her diaper, like, oh, your diaper's kind of full. It was like an emotional blockage. I couldn't feel anything for her until she was about 6 months, when she had started already rolling, and I went to the bathroom. She was asleep. She rolled off the bed when she was awake. I didn't know she woke up in that quick second. I went to the bathroom, and she fell off the bed, hit her head, and hearing her cry out of pain, it struck something. And then from then on, I was having emotional attachment. I also did affirmations. I used to look at her and say, "I love you." Yes, I was saying it because I said it, but I didn't really feel it until the more I said it. So the more I said I love you, the more I start actually feeling it and believing it. So, yep, I'm glad I was able to catch up on that. Stop.
Okay. I gave you guys 2 minutes. I feel like. With that being stated, let me go back to the comments. Make sure we didn't miss
Don't you
any
snatch that
comments
off.
because normally we miss comments. We're trying to do better at making sure we read all comments. Okay. Thank you guys for tuning in, watching the Bedroom Talk Show. Today was a very extremely hard episode to do. We're gonna go back into our little commercial break one more time. And if you have any, I'm still waiting because I know I posted a link and somebody may be shy. And I want to give them the
Don't be
opportunity to
shy.
open up
We're here to
and
cry together.
read. So we're about to go into our commercial one more time. And here we go. We want you to breathe. Breathe in, breathe out, and let go of anything you're experiencing. Today's topic is extremely hard to discuss, but we want to take time to meditate and breathe and release. Release anything you need into the universe. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And thank you for watching the Bedroom Talk Show. Alrighty, that was our little fake commercial. Well, not even fake. It was a real commercial that I created just for this episode. It was it was supposed to be a calming episode. It was that when I put that together, it was supposed to be calming to reset you and your energy as you watch this. But nobody has showed up, and because nobody has showed up, we're going to end our live. We were trying to wait for one person who did want to come on here and discuss it because we didn't mind being on here an hour, 2 hours. It didn't matter because this topic needed to be handled. But if you like this content, please comment below. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm your host, Crystal
And I'm
J.
KOKO. And thank you for
She answered her
watching. Can
name.
you hear me? I don't know. Thank you for watching the Bedroom Talk Show. Thank you to our
And
guests
that's
and
KOKO. She doesn't
comments.
her name, guys. And one more little thing. If you want us to promote your business, please email or DM us. Our email is very simple. It's the bedroom talk show at gmail.com. Once again, it is the bedroom talk show at gmail.com. If you want us to come on here and give you some advice live, we won't say your name, of course. Just email us at the bedroom talk show at gmail.com. If you want to co-host, please DM us. And when you DM us, we will figure out which segment would best fit you. Other than that, thank you guys for watching the Bedroom Talk Show. Thank you for being part of this very touching um topic. With that being stated, I'm your host and I'm out.